Well, our next speaker today is Jantz, who is a full-time day trader and the founder of the Binary Trade Group. He hosts a very popular trading forum and advisory service that's designed to help traders better understand the benefits and nuances of trading Nadex binary options. Sean is our Nadex expert today, and here's his first question. And to get things going, Sean, what markets do you trade with Nadex and why? The floor is now yours.
Thanks, Raleigh. How many people are trading Nadex now or even know what Nadex is? If you can just put some Y's or some no's, just so I can get an idea of um, how many people on the call. Okay, thanks. And if anybody else wants to chime in, just give me some Y's or no's, just so I can kind of understand what you guys know or what you don't know. And it's got about 40 minutes here. Okay, quite a few yeses, so that's good. Yeah. So one of the first questions on Nadex is what markets do I trade? Personally, what I trade the most is indice futures. And so if I go in here in Nadex, I just have a demo account here, and there's several markets that you can trade on Nadex. And I'm going to share with you one of the reasons why I mainly trade indice futures, and how it's super important to understand liquidity when you're trading on Nadex. And so one of the most markets that I trade, of course, the US 500, and so I would say 80% of my trades are either the US 500, which is the S&P 500, or the US Small Cap 2000, which is the Russell 2000. Of course, you have the NASDAQ, which is the US Tech, and Wall Street 30, which is the Dow. But most of my trades are US 500 and Small Cap 2000. And one of the big reasons why is because there's really, really good liquidity in those markets. Not as far as like getting in and out. It's more concerned about the bid and the ask spread. And so what I mean by that is it's very, very important that if you're going to trade Nadex, that you are trading, and this is actually going to answer several of the questions. One of the other questions is when's the best time to trade? And this will explain several of those questions on Nadex, but it's very important to understand bid-ask spreads on Nadex so that you're not trading products that aren't very liquid, and I'll explain those as well. But a bid-ask spread is the difference of what you can sell something for compared to what you can buy it for. And so notice currently on this US 500 contracts, dailies, it's a big difference to understand the difference between this number right here and that number right there. So a good example of this is, let's say you're going to go buy a used car, and let's say the dealership is selling it to you for $17,000, but you hop on online and you find out that the trade-in value of that car, so let's say you buy it and the second you drive off the lot, the trade-in value on that car is $9,000. That's not that. So as far as the transaction that you just bought, that's a very, very hard, that's what we call a spread. So that would be a spread on a car that you buy. The same is true when you trade the difference on binary. So a lot of people ask me, what markets do I trade? I trade the markets that have the thinnest, what you would call bid offer differences. So an example, let's say I sell this trade right now. The second I enter this trade, I'm going to be down $7.15. So let's see. Not sure why my let me see if I can update this. But for the most part, I mainly stick to indice futures. So there's the difference there. So let's go ahead and enter a trade, and then I'll show you market that might be a little bit bigger. And because we can go back and look at some of my questions. What's the best time to trade? And it also said, what markets do you avoid? And I avoid the markets that aren't very liquid, which would be more than likely like copper and soybeans. Those markets, that's an example. But if you trade soybeans and copper, you're going to be, you're going to have difference, and it's going to be very, very hard to stay profitable trading those markets. Whereas the thinnest bid-ask differences are you're going to find them on the indices. So US 500, the small cap, are going to be your thinnest bid-ask differences. So those are the markets that I stick to the most, because I want to make sure that when I buy and sell something, I want to make sure that I can that it's easy to make sure that I can make up the difference on profit. And so hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. The longer you play with this, um, it'll make sense to you. But let's just look at an example. Notice here we're getting roughly a $7 difference between what you can buy it for and what you can sell it for. And then we can look at some other markets. So let's just go to, let's say, Bitcoin. Notice the difference here is almost $13, so it's double. So you'll almost never see me trading Bitcoin. And the exact reason is because if I go in and sell that contract right now, I'm going to be down $13 the second I enter that trade. So notice that it'll say minus 13. And so one of the reasons why, make sure that you're sticking and to products that have the thinnest bid-ask spread. And this is actually a demo account. And so live accounts, it's actually, it gets thinner on live accounts when you trade the indice binaries. Also on the Forex binaries, the ones that I trade the most is the euro dollar. Biggest reason is the exact same, because the bid-ask difference are very, very small. So this one, and it usually too, when you trade on demo, these numbers will be just a little bit different. So it's actually better on a live account. So just make sure that when you are trading on Nadex, you completely understand the difference, and you're trading in a market that's what you would call liquid. Liquid meaning that there's a very, very minimal difference between what you sold it for compared to what you can buy it back for. So make sure that, and you can always ask me, get inside my circle and ask me which Forex pairs are the best and which commodity pairs are the best. The only commodities that I currently trade are gold and crude oil. The other ones have really, really wide bid-ask spreads, so I just stay away from them. So we're in the business of buying contracts and selling contracts. So I want to make sure that I'm trading the most liquid products. So just a quick example on a live account, when you go in and look on these dailies on the S&P 500, the difference between the bid and the ask currently is right around $6. And then let's say we go and look at differences. Some of these markets have closed. We'll look at Bitcoin. You're looking around $8 differences on Bitcoin. So when the markets that I trade are just the ones that have the thinnest bid-ask differences on Nadex. So make sure that you fully understand that concept, because I can almost guarantee a lot of people are losing money, not just because they don't understand the charts. You might be losing a lot of money because you're not understanding the differences between the bid and the offer. And so also it asked too, one of the questions was on through Twitter was, what is the best times to trade? And so the best times to trade on Nadex, where you're going to be able to trade the most liquid binaries, are going to be during the US session. So that's roughly going to run from right around 9 o'clock Eastern to 4 o'clock Eastern. That's where most people are trading on Nadex, because you're physically trading against other people, and the market makers make the contracts a lot better and way, way easier to profit. So the most profit is going to come from the US session, which is from right around 9 a.m. to 4 to 5 o'clock, is where you are going to have the greatest edge of trading on Nadex. It says, what markets do I avoid? And that's usually mostly a lot of the commodities I avoid. So I actually have never traded copper, corn. I have never traded soybeans, and I've traded a little bit of silver and natural gas, but very, very rare. So I make sure that I'm sticking to liquid. Um, Personally, I actually only stick to just a couple instruments to trade, and I literally watch them every single day. So usually I trade the US 500. Reason why I love the US 500 because it is it's the that chart, S&P 500 futures, is the most heavily traded product in the entire world. So anywhere that I go, I can find news, or I can find analysis from other people on it very, very quickly. Whereas an example, let's say you trade corn, you're trying to trade 500, or I just need to go to CNBC. So I want to make sure that I'm trading a product that it's very, very easy to understand. And then I know exactly what's going on in the world too, so that I can use that information for my trades. If I'm trading copper, it's going to be rough, right? I mean, I don't, or soybeans. I have never made a soybeans trade in my life, just because I want to make sure that I'm sticking to trades that are going to give me an edge. Whereas I honestly have know nothing about soybeans, but I pretty much do know everything there is to know about the US 500 and the VIX, because it's so readily available as far as information to trade that chart. It's so readily available. The euro dollar is also very readily available to trade, and so is the dollar yen. So I like those. Those are my favorite forex pairs. But as far as avoiding, I avoid anything that yeah, I don't trade Bitcoin either, because I don't know too much about Bitcoin. So an example is, if you don't know too much about what you're trading, you probably should not trade it. I mean, I know exactly what Bitcoin is, but I don't understand the chart, if that makes sense. I don't understand what moves Bitcoin. I know exactly what moves the S&P 500 to the tick. I know what moves it and how it works. VIX, 500 companies, blah blah blah, economy. I have no idea how soybeans moves. I don't want to follow weather, and I don't want to follow some other country. And so make sure that when you're trading something, it's an instrument that you understand, and you have information readily available to you. So euro dollar, you're going to have a lot of information available to you. Euro pound, you might not have a lot of information available to you on that chart. So I avoid things that don't have a lot of information to me. So one of the questions too, it says, do you have a strategy for trading on mobile phone or iPad? Now, I actually get this question a lot, and honestly, the most of the questions that I get come from newbie traders, and because they see mobile phone, they see an iPad, and they're like, oh my goodness, I can just trade on my phone, or I can trade on my iPad at work. I'm here to tell you, and I hate bursting a lot of people's bubbles. I wish it was that easy. I wish it was just as easy as just getting on my phone or my iPad and making trades and making money every day. I actually don't think I have ever entered a trade on my phone. I have exited trades on my phone, where I just look at my phone. I look at my positions, if they're longer positions, or if I have to step away from the office and all of a sudden I get alert that my trade's taking heat. I have gone on my phone and I have exited positions before, and I have taken profit. But as far as having a strategy to trade on your phone or your iPad, I wish it was that easy. And honestly, if you know anybody that's making money purely on an iPad, I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see proof of it. So I wish it was that easy, but it's very, very difficult to only make trades on your phone or your iPad. It's very difficult to do that on Nadex. The thing that I use the mobile phone app for on Nadex is just to manage my trades, not to make trading decisions. And so, is there any other questions on that before I go down to how many indicators you use? Any questions from these last four? Uh, I can actually see the chat. I have multiple screens, so I can see the chat. So if you have questions, just start spouting them out, and so I can answer them. And honestly, what I wanted to do is just add a bunch of value in the next 20 minutes because it was a phenomenal trading morning. I made some good money, and so did a lot of people that I trade with made a lot of good money this morning too. So I was going to go into how many indicators you use and go into charts. And but is there any questions? Yeah, and I'll go into that right now, Antoine. But is there any questions as far as Nadex related? Yeah, for sure. So I do that a lot actually. I'll put on some daily trades if it looks safe. Daily trades last almost 4 to 5 hours. So sometimes I go and walk my dog sometimes, but I always have my mobile phone ready to go, right? So I love my dailies because I don't have to just stare at my screen. I can get in the money dailies. I can get farther away from the market, and I can step away from the screen and go walk. I walk my dog almost every day, and I'll put an alert on my phone that if my daily contract is starting to take some heat, I can just look on my Nadex app and either close it or rush back to the house or do whatever I need to do, right? But yes, I manage my trades on my phone, but I have never have a strategy or again, I mean, if somebody is actually doing that, I'd love to see it. I think it would be awesome to see. Long I've been trading Nadex, almost 3 years. Do I trade spreads? Yes, I trade spreads. And I'll show you some spread trades today. It was a great, great day. Or a great morning. I probably will not take any more trades today, but it was a fantastic morning. Any other questions Nadex related as far as platform goes, as far as markets, bid-ask spreads? So you ask about like average win rate, right? And so as far as like how many trades do I enter that end up in profit? So you got to know that this number is skewed because I trade a lot of in the money trades, right? So most of the trades so let's say I enter a trade, and how many times do I at least get a profit out of it? Roughly, it's right around 85%. But you have to realize that I'm trading in the money. So it has to be right around there, right? But I rarely take losses, but as far as like average win rate, 85 to 90%. But you have to know that those are the types of trades, those are the types of binaries that I'm trading. So of course I'm winning 85 to 90% of the time because I'm trading those probabilities. I really, really like having a high probability chance of winning, and then I usually just cut my losses. So an example, we look at Nadex and we look at indice binaries, and notice how I like trading right around, selling for 22. So I'll be risking 77 to make 22. But of course, I can't remember the last time I've taken a max loss on a trade. I'll almost always cut my losses. But if I sell for $22, my max loss is 77. That means that's my percentage of getting a profit on that trade. So I like trading, so when I say average win rate, as far as when I enter a trade, what's the percentage of if I'm going to get a profit? Right around 85, 90%. But of course, if a traditional trader heard me say that, he wouldn't believe me because I'm not trading traditional. I'm trading options that are deep in the money. And of course, I'm winning 85 to 90% of the time. And then I cut my losses. It's very straightforward to at least stay profitable trading deep in the money like that and then cutting your losses. I'll show you some trades I have on now and some trades that I made today where I'm deep in the money, and it's very, very easy. How long after news will you re-enter a trade? So I rarely trade news, and when you trade news, I'm going to assume you're talking more of like on the Forex side. I rarely trade news, so I wish I could answer. I wish I could have a great idea for that. Um, Honestly, when you say how long do I trade, almost over an hour probably. I'll wait for it to make its move, and then So what I like to say is I'm in the reaction business. I'm not in the prediction business, so I don't try and predict anything. If there's a high impact news announcement in 5 minutes, I won't even look at that market for an hour later. So I won't even do anything. I don't trade news. Rarely do I. So I will go in here and I'll show you some of these. So one of the questions that came through is how many indicators do I use, or how many indicators do you use for entries and stuff like that. So here I usually use Thinkorswim charts, and this is a 4-hour chart. Mostly Antoine, yes. Only trade the U.S. market, yes. So these are 4-hour charts, and these are just clean, normal 4-hour charts. These arrows don't really mean anything, but these are just clean 4-hour charts. And so both the only indicators that I use, that I teach all of this for free as well. These are all free indicators. I don't sell any indicators. You don't need to buy indicators to make money in the market. That was one of my biggest goals when I first started trading, is to prove to everybody that you just need a little bit of market awareness, and you should be able to trade just for free. So stuff that I use, I guess if you want to call this an indicator, you can, but I use, if you notice right here, it says Heiken Ashi candles. So you can look at the difference here. So I use Heiken Ashi candles for my candles. So we'll look at the difference real quick. Notice when you use normal candles, it goes red, green, red, green, red, green, lots of red, green, right? But when you go to Heiken Ashi, what it does is it takes the average of the last 2 candles and then it makes a new candle. So notice now we got green, red, green, red. Very, very easy to see who's in control of the market, bears or bulls. That's all I really need to know. The other indicator that I use, we'll just go to style, studies, add study. It's called a Keltner channel. And I want to hurry up because I want to show you guys some cool stuff today. The other indicator, so Keltner channel is basically a moving average support and resistance channel. And then the other study I use is an overbought, oversold Fisher transformer. So if you're familiar with RSI, that's basically what this is. So it's right under, it's called FW Fisher transformer. So basically all it is just an RSI. Tells me when the market is overbought or oversold. So some of the trades, so I just wanted to share some of the market of the trades made today. So every evening, what I do is I upload a trade plan on the S&P 500 and the small cap. So I upload this every night, this trade plan right on YouTube. I upload it right around 9 to 10 o'clock Eastern. And I basically set the stage for what's going to happen in the market for tomorrow. I've been doing this actually almost 8 months, for every single day for the last 8 months. Feel free to go to my channel and you can see all. But notice today, right? So you can actually see me talking about the 4-hour chart last night. And so one of the things that I wanted to do last night, and how and why I'm so in love with Nadex, is you can actually see me going in and talking about this 4-hour chart, and you can actually see me talking about selling up there. So daily contracts in the money, go get anything you want up here. Nadex is all we are doing is we're just trying to pick a yes or no answer. Is that statement going to be true or false by a specific time frame? And so I usually set the stage for what's going to happen. And so I said, go up there and go get any of those daily contracts, $20, $30, $15, right? Just go sell those up there, because more than likely these are going to be false tomorrow. So you can watch that video, and you can see how I set the stage, for the next trading day. And so one of the things that I love about Nadex, right? And so I ended up doing that. It's very, very easy. What I usually do is I pick areas on the charts where I know prices are not going to go. I honestly don't really care where the market's going to go. I care more about where it's not going to go. So an example of some of the trades I made last night. I ended up getting up there, and this was actually a weekly that I sold, so 1952.5 expiring tomorrow. So all we need to do to make profit tomorrow is just stay below 1952.5. But actually, I'm going to exit this trade at the end of the day. So you can see all you need to do is stay below that blue line and you make money, right? And so you can kind of see how that was, how I really, really like trying to stay as far away from the market as I can. I try to get in the money trades. And as you can see, as an example, I sold, 4 of those for 21 bucks. And so I usually like to take profits early. So I'll go ahead and take profit early on that. And that's already pre-set up for you, usually the night before. And then I ended up getting out there and selling dailies as well. So let me see if I can pull that up really quick. So one of my go-to trades is this is trying to trade daily contracts, and all I need to do is decide whether these are going to be true or false to make money, and that's it. And so once I figured that out, I just need to find areas on the charts where I'm pretty sure prices are not going to go. So I'll go ahead and pull that trade up that I made today. Several people actually ended up getting in on this trade. So I have several people who trade with me every day. So I ended up getting up there and sold the 1933 last night, right? So the 1933 contract, all I needed to do last night was decide, are we going to be below 1933 by 4:15? And you can watch that video there, and of course I was like, of course we are. I mean, there's basically no way we're going to go above 1933 tomorrow. And the reason why I love Nadex so much is I can get away from the market. I'm going to take profit. I probably will hold this for full profit, right? So that's a nice, little $120 on that trade today on 3 contracts. So we can actually draw that strike. So then I sold the 1933 daily and then draw expiration. All I need to do is stay below that blue line. So I'll actually see markets actually trying to come up. We got, an hour left. And so I'll probably actually just go ahead, as soon as we hang up, I'll probably just go ahead and just take my profits a lot. As soon as I see green, I bank the trade. I almost rarely hold something for full profit, and I rarely hold something for a full loss. I'm getting green on the Nadex contracts, and then I just bank it, and then I go find another one. I get green $5, $10, $20, $30. I close the trade, and I go find another one. So what I do is I usually get far away enough from the market, give myself room to be wrong. I get a little bit of profit, probably usually around 50% of max profit. I then take the profits and I'm just constantly putting money in my Nadex account, and then I go find another trade. So I find a lot of people try and hold those trades for full profit, where that can come back and bite you a lot. But I can almost guarantee, if you think back of all your losing Nadex trades, you probably were green. When I say green, I mean your trade was probably green at one point during the trade, but you ended up thinking that I'm going to hold this for full. Whereas the second I stopped doing that, and the second I started just taking profits, go get another one, a lot of my P&L dramatically changed, and I never look back, right? I never go, oh, I could have made an extra $20 if I would have held. I'm on to the next one. So I'm constantly putting money and taking profits. Actually, I loved what that guy said earlier. I like the movie Glenn Ross too, and he said ABC. He said always be closing, always be closing. As soon as you get green, take it. As soon as you see profit, take it. And so a lot of people that I find on Nadex are holding positions way too long. You got to get your green and then bank the trade. And so I wanted to show you some of the markets. Somebody asked about spreads and stuff like that. Um, and then I'll show you some of the trades that a lot of my members were making this morning as well. A lot of money was made today. It was nuts. And so we also had several people, as far as spread. So when I trade a spread, I want to make sure that I fully know where prices are going to go, and then I take my profits on the Nadex spreads. So an example, we can look at my trade plan from last night. One of my plans from last night, and go ahead and watch this, was I absolutely last night I wanted to go ahead and spread the ES 500. It's what I call an 80% rule trade, and you'll learn all about that if you want to come in and learn with me. It's probably the most profitable trade you'll ever make in your life, and trust me. If you can disapprove it, I'd love to see it. Right. And so one of my plans from last night was that I know that if price comes back inside what I call this value area box, I know that if price comes back inside, so if price comes out and then comes back inside here, there is an 80% chance that price is going to fall down to the lower of the box. So you can kind of see me getting everybody prepared for that last night, right? You can see right around minute 7 on that YouTube video from last night. And by the way, I do these every night for you. And so today we ended up actually getting it. So here's the ES 1 minute chart. Look at this. We got back inside value, and I ended up entering right here on what I call a lower high, and then spread it all the way down to the lower of the box, right? And so I ended up getting in on that. Several people ended up getting on that. I ended up, there's one of the trades. I don't think that one was mine. This one was mine. So I ended up getting in only 2 contracts. Banked 150 this morning. Really, really good, right? So you can see when I entered at 11:35, which is right there. It's exactly what I said to do in the trade plan 12 hours ago. And I said, 80% chance we're going to go down and touch value area low. And sure enough, we did. So I banked $150 on that trade this morning. 2 contracts. That was awesome. Several other people also got in on that trade. And so the 80% rule also worked on the small cap today as well. So it got back inside value. Check this out. So this wasn't a trade for me. This is a trade from somebody in my group. Price got back inside of value, and then it went all the way down to value area low today. And so we had another guy on the small cap make over $200 this morning, all the way down. Only 3 contracts too. So trading small, there's a lot of money to be made, and that was already pre-planned for you the night before too in that video if you want to watch it. Then we had some trades this morning. A lot of people too sold all the way up here. So we had a bunch of people selling, like I just mentioned in the trade plan. Go ahead and sell anything any Nadex in the money trades you want to sell. Go ahead and sell those up there, just like I did. That's pretty easy money. But then we had to move down, and somebody asked me, how do you enter trades? This is how I look at my charts. And so this is a 30-minute candle. And look at this. So on this ES chart, price actually came, and actually I want to show the TF chart because this is where most people took trades this morning in my group. We caught a beautiful, what I call a 30-minute candle buy trigger. I put it on your charts for you, Mel, or I have free trainings where you can learn it yourself. Charts every night for you, and then I include the trade plan. And then the last 2 minutes, I'm going to share a little bit about what we do. But price on this TF, so this is what I call a 30-minute buy trigger back up to the upside. Notice my Fisher transformer is giving me a buy signal right there. And we had a bunch of people buying in the money contracts down here. So it's very, very easy to do, right? We had 1074 small cap, And so you can see the buy trigger all the way up to the upside. These are in the money contracts, and these are daily contracts. So there's another $450 there, right? So we had other people doing that. We had other people buying the small cap trade this morning on that 30-minute buy trigger there on the small cap. So very, very easy to see when to get in, when to get out, things like that. And so we also, and then we also 80% rolled all the way back up to the upside. So I can show you that real quick. So if price comes outside of value, right? So you can see this. So if price comes outside of value and then it gets back inside, 80% chance it goes up to value area high right there. So it works very, very well. And then there's so many different ways where you can take advantage of this through Nadex. In the money, you can do at the money. Cam White this morning did out of the money trade where he risked 25 to make 75. Cam did on the 80% rule on the way down. Cam White did that this morning with us. So with Nadex, you literally pick, if you're just trading traditional futures, it's the same risk reward for everybody. You're just right at the money, it's the same. Whereas if you go in and trade Nadex, you're going to be able to make whatever risk reward you want. You make it. If you want to trade in the money, at the money, out of the money, or a spread, you can go ahead, whatever risk tolerance you want to do, or whatever type of probability of trade that you want to win. It's actually, Nadex gives you more resources to plan and construct your own trade than any other platform out there, besides, of course, like Thinkorswim, but of course those are for longer term trades. Nadex is more for your intraday day trades, where you can construct your own trades basically. Yeah, so Cam White, what he did is when price got back inside value right here, what he did is he sold contracts down here out of the money, hoping that price would come down here, and sure enough, he did. So you can go ahead and set up your whatever your risk reward profile. So quickly, what I do, you can go into my website here. You can submit. There we go. You can submit your details here. You can learn a little bit about myself, and you can learn about Ryan Smith. We actually do free Nadex one-on-one, so you can do a one-on-one with Ryan Smith, and he'll teach you everything you need to know about Nadex. We offer free trials, so you can actually come in and learn. I teach everything for free. Absolutely everything is free. I teach it all to you for free, how to trade, how to do it. And then if you want to trade with me every day, we have a chat room in here where we're all trading together, right? You can see somebody else got in on that buy trigger in my chat room. So there was that 30-minute buy trigger. He saw it come about it. Sure enough, he got in and made some decent money, right? So a lot of us are in here. We're all trading throughout the day. Together. And then of course I post these trade plans every single night for you. I've been doing them every day for the last 8 months. They're insanely accurate. I mean, I'm not boasting by any means, but it's amazing how well you can actually see. When you start pre-planning your day 12 hours in advance, it's amazing what you can start doing. And then of course I put all of these plots on your charts for you, and then I give you these charts every evening. "30 seconds. Any other last questions? It was a fantastic morning. I mean, we had people posting winner after winner. To be quite honest, I don't know if you traded today, and if you did, you lost, maybe. But if you actually knew what I knew, you had to literally try to lose money today. Like, you had to try to lose money this morning. It was that good. Stocks and options, absolutely, you should absolutely use Thinkorswim. By far, it's the best in the industry. It's this platform that I'm using right here. So you'll be able to trade traditional options and stocks. Just go in here. Let's say you want to trade Apple. Nobody out there. So here's all Apple options. And then you can just trade. If you just want to trade stocks, just trade them. By far, this is the best platform in the industry to do that, Daniel. Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade. Thinkorswim. TD Ameritrade. I personally trade traditional options every single day as well. So I like my longer term trades too. I'm actually decently bullish right now. I have some longer term trades and I'm taking advantage of the VIX. Usually 50 to 75% of max profit. So let's say the max profit, Antoine, is $30. If I'm starting to see right around $15 to $20 of profit, and I look at the chart and I'm like, this may reverse, bank it, take it. And honestly, a lot of the times I'll go ahead and put my working order take profit on because sometimes I'll miss it. All you really need is a decent little wick to get you out of a trade, and you want Nadex to go ahead and get you out of the trade for you so you don't have to just sit there and watch it. Sometimes when I'm really far away from the market, like on a daily trade or a weekly trade, sometimes I will hold for full profit. But as far as on an intraday trade, like an hourly, I almost always go ahead and take my profit early because it's not worth it. Not worth it one little bit.
All right. Well, Sean, fantastic presentation, buddy. You covered an awful lot of material.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't that good if the morning wasn't as good as it was today, I wouldn't have shared it. But hopefully, it was so good. And I know, especially if you've never actually seen this before, you're probably thinking, I don't get it. But what we do is we try and break this down literally as easy as we possibly can.
Well, once again, do certainly appreciate your time and all the information that you shared with us. And